So the Solidaridad reclaims sustainability is on the assumption that if we strengthen civil society, increase and maintain civic space, as well as apply a gender and social inclusion approach, it will alleviate the poverty of farmers and workers. I hope that I'm getting your attention, at least with my introduction. My guest is Rosemary Adiko. She's Program Manager, Oil Palm, Solidaridad West Africa, and Yao Brichum, Program Manager, Gold, Solidaridad West Africa. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
First of all, you have to explain what this project is about to me. So let's start with you.
Okay, so why reclaim sustainability? The issue is now civic space is shrinking all over the world. And we know that without civil society, there's nobody who will check public sector. So for us, we believe that once we expand the civic space and then build the capacity of civil society, then the voices of the voiceless will be heard, and then decisions that affect them, they'll be part of the decision-making process. That's why we are really implementing this program.
Before you add on, why gold?
Gold is looking at the small-scale mining sector.
Oh, okay.
Yes, specifically.
Okay. And what is yours focus on?
Oil palm. So we are focused on oil palm, gold, and then cocoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So any build-up to what the objective of the project is?
Yes, so as an organization, we usually adopt a holistic approach to addressing issues within a particular commodity space. So we have what we call medium, the MASP, which is a strategic plan, a 5-year strategic plan for the organization. So we do that every 5 years. And within that plan, we have different areas that we look at. The first is looking at producers generally. Then how do you support producers to practice or to ensure good practices when they are producing? And the second aspect of the MASP, which is also looking at enabling policy environment, So the reclaim sustainability is looking at the enabling policy environment of the MASP. Then we also have the third looking at supportive business ecosystems. How do you support service providers, for instance, to support farmers, miners, etc.
Okay.
Then lastly, we're looking at market uptake because we want to address the issues holistically, looking at the supply chain. So starting from the producers and ending at the market aspect of it.
Okay. So what's the plan in terms of the timelines? How long do you intend this program?
It's a 5-year program. We're starting this year, and then it will end in 2025.
Okay. So where specifically are we now?
Okay, so we have identified issues, we have identified our stakeholders, and so we want to launch this program on Friday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. at AH Hotel, to also be on a live stream at our Facebook page. And so we just want people to really understand what we are trying to do.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about partnerships now, because you've got partners. Who are they?
So the program generally is looking at the oil palm sector, the cocoa sector, and also the small-scale mining sector. So we do have key stakeholders or partners within these spaces. So then in the oil palm sector, for instance, we have what we call the OPDAC, which is the Association of the Oil Palm Farmers. And also we have cocoa associations, we have gold associations. We also have relevant governmental institutions that we've partnered with, like the Minerals Commission, the Ghana Cocoa Board, etc. So these are some of the organizations that we work with.
Okay. Any other civil organizations that you're hoping to collaborate with locally?
So for us, we work with CSOs depending on the issue we really want to address. So, for example, for oil palm, we are looking at land issues. So definitely we have to engage the community, just engage the chiefs, land administration, and all those who are involved in land-related issues, so that at least we solve the problem once and for all.
Okay. I'm just thinking that this reclaim project, especially with the small-scale mining, is very timely at this very point. How important is it for farmers to get involved with this project?
Okay, so the idea for the reclaim sustainability is to really empower people to voice out their concerns. So it's looking at building the capacity of CSOs, and also making the voices of producers heard, so that at least we can understand what their issues are and try to come out with solutions to address their issues. I guess you are aware of the various challenges being faced by the small-scale mining sector currently. So how do we involve the miners in taking decisions to address issues in the sector? So So let me just give one example. The major challenge to do with the sector is with illegal mining, as you are aware. So how do we then formalize the activities of miners? Because there's been studies have proved that before you can regulate a particular sector, you need to formalize the activities. So how then do we formalize that? How are we then able to give them licenses to operate? So at least we can regulate the activities as well.
Okay. So we've heard a bit about the gold. Can we zero in on cocoa? What specifically the plan is?
Okay, so cocoa, we want to look at unfair distribution. You're looking at unfair distribution. You're looking at
are you looking at pricing?
Yes, so the issue has been, for cocoa farmers, what they receive is so small, so only around 3 to 5% of the price of the world market price. So what we want to do is, we want to empower their voices. We want to empower producers to be able to be part of the decision-making process. We want to be able to negotiate. So if you are setting prices, farmers should be part of the negotiating table. For decisions that's really affecting them. Yes, because we keep saying, yes, living income, whatever, but I don't think we have engaged them enough. So we want to empower them so that when it's time for engagement, they should be able to also provide input to them.
Why do I feel that because of where you're coming from, because you're not necessarily governmental, it will be easy for them to open up and speak to you? I'm just thinking. But I also want to ask the question of, you've told us this is a 5-year plan. So at the end of 5 years, have we started the counting the 5 years though?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, we started.
Okay. All right. So what do we hope to achieve at the end of the 5 years?
Well, we believe that by the end of this project, relevant CSOs and the all the 3 sectors we are working in are empowered enough to be part of the decision-making process. Decisions that really affect them, they should be part of the decision-making process. We want to see the civic space expanding so that civil society can also put government on track if things are not really happening the way it should. We just want to make sure agric is profitable. That's the only place where you can work, relax, and enjoy your money. No taxes, so, and I tell you, agric is where we can employ so many people in the sector. We are talking about labor, unemployment, but I tell you, we go to the farming communities, labor is an issue. How then do we balance unemployment and then labor unavailability in the growing community? So this is what we are doing. We just want to make sure everybody has a voice.
Okay. Talking about everybody having a voice and engaging other people, there certainly will be challenges. So what have you envisaged will be the hurdles that you have to cross?
Mainly to do with government policy, because, of course, this is more of a policy influencing project, where we build the capacity of CSOs and also civil society, and people or producers, etc., to influence policy through a number of actions that's under the project. So then the idea is once we are able to build their capacity, they should then be able to influence policy through the private sector and also government. So if government, for instance, is not interested, then that's going to be very challenging for us. And if the private sector also is not too interested, that's also going to be very challenging for us. So because it's about addressing their challenges, using this particular route of the influencing policy.
Okay. Yeah. So what's the plan to make them interested?
Okay, so as part of the project, we are not just building the capacity of the CSOs and also trying to make the voices heard, the voice of producers heard, but we're also going to engage with policymakers as well. Okay. So like the Minerals Commission, the Cocoa Board, etc., we're going to engage with them for them to understand some of these sustainability issues holistically, so to ensure inclusive sustainability for the various supply chains that we're working in.
Okay, so just finally, for those who are following the conversation, this is coming up on Friday. Yes. Are they welcome to be there, or this is strictly by invitation?
Oh, because of COVID protocols, it's strictly by invitation. But there's a link on our Facebook that they can really join live stream. Yes.
Okay. And what should be the expectation for this whole conversation of reclaim sustainability?
So the expectation is that it's a process that will lead to addressing challenges within the various sectors. So at the end of the day, we are not looking at, usually, we're not looking at the process, but we're looking at the results that will come out of the process that we're going to go through. As I mentioned, it's policy influencing. So if government, for instance, in the small-scale mining sector, for instance, the major issues to do with implementation of policies. You know, we have lots of policies. Ghana is seen as one of the best countries that has, one of the countries that has the best ASM policies. But the issue currently is to do with its implementation. How do we implement the policies to ensure that the miners benefit from that?
Okay, that's crucial. Well, we wish you well with Friday's events. It's coming up at the Alisa Hotel, but as you've said,
AH Hotel.
AH Hotel in East Lagos. But you're not expecting us to show up. We can just follow the procedures.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I guess we can leave it there. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you too.
Show. All right. Coming up next, we're talking about the Ability Fair here on the show. And I mentioned way earlier that former Gender Minister Otiko Afisa-Jabbar is on our show. She's been promoting issues surrounding disabilities, and this is one to open up more opportunities for persons in this area. Let's see how you can support her. That's coming up next.